In this Watch It video, we're going to look at how to create a line on our screen. So the first thing we're going to do is look at what a line is made of. You have to have points. So you have a starting point, your x1, your y1, and you have your ending point, your x2, your y2. Now you can hard code the points by saying point 1 equals x1, y1, point 2 equals x2, y2, and then use those points within your draw dot line. Or you can place the points within parentheses and put the points in the places that they need to be within the draw dot line. So let's look at that in our Python code. If you would open up your Pygame window that we created previously, remember that we are using the Pygame window as a starting point so we don't have to retype all of the code over and over again. So we double check what we need versus what we have on our code. So we have our import Pygame, import sys. So right here, if you look, it says import Pygame, sys. Now someone sent me a message asking me why in some of our programs we have 2 imports and why in some we just have 1. I'm just trying to show you different ways of writing out the code. You do not have to have 2 import statements here, but if you don't put a comma, then you would need to put another line and put import. So it's just a different way of writing. It's just a preference of the programmer and how they want to write it. Next, we check our init method. We have our init method. We name our window screen pygame.display.setMode 400 by 400, and over here we have 640 by 480. So we're going to change this to 640 by 480. Then we are setting our colors, and it doesn't matter if you set the colors before or after the screen fill. It's just that whatever color you're going to fill your screen with has to come before the screen.fill. So you can have a section where you define all of your colors and then afterwards you can use them. So we have our screen.fill, and now we're going to create the points. Remember, it's always a good idea to put in comments so you know that what you're creating. So I'm going to put in a comment that says creating points, and then I'm going to say point 1 equal to 50, 50, and then point 2 is equal to 50, I'm sorry, it's 150, 150. Then I'm going to draw my first line. Putting it on the screen. I'm giving it a color, and then I am placing my points. Now, in the code on the left side, we have point 1, point 2 again. Now, you can use or reuse a variable name when you're assigning a new value to it. And, you know, some languages may require that you have a new variable or a different variable here, but as long as you draw, then put in the points again, and then draw again, it's fine to reuse the name of the variable. So now this time we're saying it's at 50, 100, and then point 2 is at 50, 150. We're going to draw another line. Again, we're drawing to the screen, we are giving it a color, and we are using our points. And lastly, we're going to draw a line, and this time we are going to put the points within the draw line. So drawing to the screen, we are using blue as the color, and now we put in a parentheses and put the point for the first point, and then put parentheses and put in the second point, and close our parentheses. Now you're going to do a file, save as, and save it as pygamelines.py. So file, save as. And then you're going to click run. And okay, mine didn't work because I had a problem right here. It should be an equal, not a minus. So we're going to click run again. And now we have our lines. So I'm going to minimize these so that we can look at the code with the lines. Excuse me. Our first line was starting at 50-50. So that means it is 50 across and 50 down. And its ending point is 150 across and 150 down. Then we have our next line, which is the red one, which is 50 across and 100 down, with 50 across and 150 down. So if I use both my x's as the same x, then I get a vertical line. Alright, so now down here in the blue line, it's starting at 50, so it's 50 across, but it's 200 down. And then we have 150, 150 as the next point, so it touches that green line. So if I have both my x's the same, I get a vertical line. Then if I have both my y's the same, I'm going to get a horizontal line. So we're going to do that. So put in a new Pygame, and this time what we're going to do is we're drawing out to the screen. This time I'm going to hard code my color here instead of defining it. So I'm going to say 0, 0, 0. So that's going to give me the color black. And then I am going to put in my x-axis, and I'm going to put in my y. And then I'm going to put in another x-axis, and I'm going to use 100. And then I'm going to say 150. And we're going to close that parentheses. We're going to click run. Of course, it's going to ask us if we want to save it. And when we run, now we have this black line that is a horizontal line. So we have our vertical and our horizontal lines. So, you know, remember how to create those because you're going to need that for your assignments. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, move on to the check for understanding, and then you can learn how to create another shape in the next section.